Hi folks, I'm Judd. I'm a professional astrologer with over 35 years consultative experience to my name. These are my astrological forecasts for the year 2015 for each sign of the zodiac. Enjoy. And this is the astrological forecast for the sign of Pisces for the whole of 2015. The overriding and dominant astrological feature over the whole year continues to be that of having Neptune in your sign. And although Neptune rules Pisces, the jury is definitely out as to whether this is a good placing or not. Those of you who have already had Neptune conjunct your sun may well disagree with this, because a number of you by now, particularly those of you born in February, have found that this last few years has had at least 1 year of confusion, distortion, perhaps neuroses, uncertainty, doubt, fog, even fatigue. And yet at the same time, equally strongly and in an opposite and positive way, there's also been the equally strong capacity for imagination, creativity, intuition, art, spirituality, more subtlety and refinement and sophistication. These are the positive sides of Neptune. Now, as we enter 2015, Neptune is finishing paying attention to those people born on February 23, 24, 25, 26 even, and is turning his attention very much so to those people born February 27, 28, 29 and March 1. And for these people, it's not going to be a year of doing marathons or punching iron. Instead, it's going to be a year of dance or Tai Chi or yoga or something like this. Something more sophisticated and refined rather than physically demonstrative, because you're unlikely to have as much physical energy as you normally have. This isn't going to affect all of you, but particularly those born at the end of February are likely to find that 2015 is not going to be the most proactive time of the year. Instead, it's a year to step back and dream and be creative and artistic rather than projective and assertive and proactive. Pluto's actually working really well with some of you, particularly those born around March 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, we're seeing a number of opportunities for major psychological growth and welfare coming in. A sense of more profoundness and depth and gravity coming into the communication you have with other people. The encounters with other people becoming more meaningful, and this has to be seen as good. So if you're born in the middle of the first week of March, you can expect this year to be basically a very healthy year in terms of opportunities for self-development, self-confidence and things like this. Nice. Uranus is in the next door sign and he's not really touching you. So what we're not seeing here is what I would call major disruption or chaos. There's no sense of having the rug pulled from underneath your feet, but then with Neptune in your sign, you wouldn't want that as well. Saturn is paying attention to a number of you, both for those of you born at the start and at the end of your sign. By those of you born at the start, I mean those few of you born on February 18, but also 19, 20, 21, even 22 February. All of these Pisceans are going to be finding that the first 8 or 9 months of 2015 are going to hold in them a degree of challenge, external restriction or internal boundary renegotiation. Boundaries will become an increasingly important word. And basically, those of you who got hammered by Neptune in 2010, 11 and 12, in the first, up until February the 22nd, 23rd, Saturn's going to come in now and he's really going to test what's left for viability for the future and to see what's still sustainable for long-term restructuring and growth in the future. So it's very much a time, if you're born in the first 4 days of Pisces, to step back from the front line, to weed, prune, streamline, reassess, reevaluate, and see what's left by the time you're into August. As you get into mid-August, Jupiter moves into your opposite sign of Virgo and immediately starts bringing opportunities for new growth and development, most of which should be taken as a light-hearted gesture and not really taken on board because they're going to be over the top, but nevertheless will bring fortune, fun, hope, and an element of growth and expansion. Particularly those people born before February the 22nd should be aware that late August and early September next year is potentially quite a provocative and larger than life time. Again, similarly throughout September with Jupiter opposite Neptune, those people born at the end of February need to be aware that September is a time of potentially big challenges, and there's a need for a measured and considered response to everything. Relationships, spending money, investment, career decisions. Keep things in perspective. September is not a time for making large-scale, long-term plans or decisions. It's possibly the most difficult time of the year, and basically by the time you're into very early October, this is over. The Saturn-Neptune square in the last 6 weeks of the year may prove quite troublesome to those of you born in the last week of February, and if you come under further pressure at this time, cut your losses and know that those Pisceans born in February will be basically through the mill by the end of 2015, after which both Saturn and Neptune move on. For all of you, it's not a particularly challenging year. Saturn brings a lot of growth to those of you born in the last couple of days of Pisces, around March the 18th, 19th onwards. Jupiter passing into your opposite sign from mid-August onwards brings some humour and optimism, as well as a bit of fun if somewhat over the top. But the overriding feature is the coming Saturn-Neptune square, and how that's going to make a number of you suddenly become, by necessity, a lot more real, responsible and boundaried. So as far as the whole year 2015 goes, Pisces, it's a split year. In the first half, chill, recharge. In the second half, get ready for some seriously disciplined hard work. There you go, folks. I hope that was helpful and informative. I believe astrology should be free. I think that if astrology was taught in schools, we'd see an end to warfare within 2 generations. And in that context, I want to put as much astrology free into the world as I can. But it does cost. Your donations, month in, month out, the £1, the £5, the £10 a month that you send me, really help me keep this going. Thank you. Keep them coming. And look what I've got. And there's a new one on Mercury coming out later this year. So if you want to get these or find out about all my gigs travelling around the world this coming year lecturing on astrology, email me, steve@stevejudd.com. See you next year. Bye.